The Mets came back from the road at just 4-8, but they've been a different team here at Citi Field. The 10-game homestand has been terrific. They're going for their 9th win on it today. They've got the starting lineup all set to go. Jerry Manuel's happy. Why not? The Mets are in first place. They've got the brooms out, going for the sweep of the Dodgers. Live at Citi Field this afternoon, it's Mets baseball on SNY as the New York Mets take on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Hi, everyone, and welcome inside Citi Field. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Gary, Keith, and Ron will be along just a little bit later as the Mets do try to sweep the LA Dodgers today. And when you look at this Mets team, yes, it's been a terrific homestand. They're 8-1. They've put themselves into first place now in the NL East, and the starting pitching has been the thing here. The Mets are third in the major leagues with starting pitching ERA, and the last 13 games, the Mets have gone 10-3, and the starting pitching has been absolutely outstanding in that time. A 1.49 ERA in those last 13 games. Now, today, it's John Maine, kind of looking to get back on track, looking to start his season. He's going for his first win. And last time out against Atlanta, it looked like he was finally getting on track, but left arm, left elbow soreness caused him to miss that game after just 3 2/3 innings. John Maine had to leave that game. He's healthy now. He's going this afternoon, going for his first win, trying to give the Mets a sweep. Mets will take on John Eli, the kid called up from AAA to replace Vicente Padilla for the Dodgers today. When we come back, I'll talk to Dodgers manager Joe Torre. Stick around for that. It's the Mets and Dodgers at Citi Field. First pitch is coming up in moments. Joe Torre began his first job as player manager of the Mets. He was the youngest manager in the game. I caught up with him yesterday and asked him about just that. Joe, I'd be hard-pressed to think that a player could be a player manager these days. I mean, take us back to that time, though. What was that like for you?
Well, you know, Kevin, to be honest with you, when I was player manager, when I negotiated, when they decided that I wasn't going to play anymore and I was going to be a manager, I asked about being a player manager, and, you know, M. Donald Grant wasn't crazy about it. Joe McDonald wasn't crazy about it. But we knew there was an impending trade that we were going to make Tom Seaver in the middle of June, because that was the trade deadline at that time. So they weren't going to really mess with the roster until that time. And then when we made the trade with Cincinnati, and Joel Youngblood, I think, was the last one to show up, which was a couple of days after we made the deal. So I guess in essence, I was a player manager for about something short of 3 weeks.
You know, when you think back to your early days of the Mets and then moving on, Braves, Cardinals, what are the biggest differences in managing, whether it's dealing with people, whether it's managing the game, Joe? I mean, take us back.
Well, you know, I think the thing a manager has to do is know his people. I think you hit it on the head. You know, as far as the type of game you play is going to be dependent on the kind of players you have. You know, you don't sit around and wait to hit home runs and stuff if you don't have that ability. I know when I first started managing the Yankees, you know, we were pretty much lay a bunt down, hit and run, do a lot of stuff. You know, then we get Cecil Fielder, Dale Strawberry, changed a little bit our personality, and we didn't do as much as that small ball stuff, even though we tried to think that way. But the most important thing in managing, in my opinion, is the fact that you have to know your players. And you know, statistics will tell you one thing, but what you're watching on the field tells you something else, and that's really what, you know, I think you have to go by.
Is the relationship with the players, knowing them, you know, I would imagine is the same. You have to know them. But is the relationship different with guys now that are making, you know, so much money as compared to, you know, guys 20 years ago?
It shouldn't be. I don't think it should be. I mean, they still have a job to do. You know, there's no shortcuts. You get paid a lot of money, but the reason you get paid a lot of money probably is you're a special player, which means you're out there working your tail off. But I never tried to treat anybody different. You know, I may give a little more room to guys who have been around the game, but they don't have to necessarily be superstars. You know, I really value experience more so than how much you're getting paid.
Joe, obviously you've had a great playing career and a managing career. You're fifth all-time on the wins list. But, you know, let's say 20 years from now, people talk about Joe Torre. What do you want them to mention? What's the number one thing you'd want them to bring up when they bring up your name?
Well, you know, to me, I think fairness. You know, they were judged, and I spent most of my career, if I was judged by wins and losses, I wouldn't be held in high esteem. So I'd like to think that it was more than that, although the wins and losses got people's attention. The fact that players want to come back and play for me means a lot for me, a lot to me. Where even though we may have had disagreements, they still want to come back, which indicates that they've been treated fairly. So that's the thing I'm probably most proud of, is that I worked hard and tried to earn my money and make the people who hired me proud.
Joe, always good to have you back in New York. Thanks for the honest answers, okay?
Thank you.
He was the youngest manager in the game then. He's the oldest manager in the game now. As he's the head of the Dodgers. Mets going for the sweep of Torre's Dodgers. First pitch coming up next.
John Maine set to go for his 5th start of the year, hoping it lasts longer than his 4th start. And Russell Martin leading off for the Dodgers. Fouls the first pitch off, and we're underway on another blustery day at Citi Field. John Maine, who had to come out of his last start after 3 2/3 against the Braves because of pain in his left elbow.
Looks like one of those windy days in the British Open. One of those windy rounds.
And Martin takes on the outside corner, 0-2. Joe Torre flopping his batting order around today and putting his catcher Martin in the leadoff spot, something he's done before.
Well, they haven't scored any runs. He's searching for answers. He's got Kemp hitting second. He's not a number 2 hitter.
21st time in Martin's career he's led off. He did it once last year. And Maine throws a breaking ball low, 2-2. But the Dodgers over the last 5 games have scored just 10 runs and hit 198 as a team. And there's Matt Kemp, who's been the subject of some controversy over the last 24 hours.
Well,
instigated by the Dodgers general manager, Ned Colletti, who had some pointed comments about his talented center fielder.
Well, he kind of loafed yesterday. We spotted it.
Martin lifts one to right field. Frank Core drifting back as the wind grabs a hold. And that's the first out of the afternoon. So one away, and here is that Dodger batting order with Martin at the top and Kemp hitting second. Xavier Paul gets his second start in left field. Ronnie Belliard has been a bit of a Met killer and certainly a John Maine killer, gets the start at second base. Rafael Furcal out with a hamstring injury that he suffered in the first game yesterday. We were wondering why he was about to be pinch hit for in the ninth and then didn't play in the second game. Well, Furcal's got a hamstring, so he has to sit today. And so the Dodgers, who are hurting, patching together a lineup for this afternoon's series finale. So here's Kemp, who's 1 for 9 in this series. Kemp got a new 2-year contract worth about $11 million. And Ned Colletti, the GM, said his base running's below average. The defense is below average. Why is it? Because he got a new deal? I can't tell you. Kemp responded this morning, said he works harder than anybody on the team. He gets there early, but there's no question watching him loaf after Jason Baseball in left center field yesterday that they've got a problem.
He loafed after another ball, too, a base up the middle that allowed Blanco to go to third. That should never have happened. And you can come to the ballpark early, but you know, when you're out there for 9 innings, and today it's 3 hours, these ball games, you got to hustle. I mean, he wasn't hustling.
And Maine strikes him out with a fastball away. And so John Maine off to a quick start, strikes out his second batter.
John with a sneaky fastball, and you know, he's throwing in the high 80s, and that's a concern. And the Alexis Mets defense, we're going to highlight Ike Davis, 1 error in 9 games. He's got nice hands, fields his position well, needs a little work on it, maybe his footwork around the bag. He's a little bit slow around the bag, but let me tell you, I like that kid over there. He is going to help you both ends of the field. When he's not hitting, he's not going to hurt you in the field. He's going to help you in the field.
Here's Andre Ethier hitting at .354, third in the National League. Ethier 2 for 6 in yesterday's doubleheader. And he is off to a very fast start. Top 10 in the league in both on-base percentage and slugging percentage. And Maine misses low 1-1. Maine pronounced himself fit to go after throwing his bullpen session a couple of days ago. The pain that he experienced in his elbow, as you look at James Loney on deck, is something that knocked him out of a game 2 years ago as well.
That's what I thought.
And it's a little mysterious because he doesn't know where it comes from. It's kind of like a muscle spasm, he said. But he is not expecting it to be a problem again, and certainly the Mets are crossing their fingers that it's not.
And he is out there on a blustery cold afternoon here at Citi in Flushing without a long sleeve shirt. Dan Worthen got to be very pleased with his pitching core. They have just been top-notch after the slow start.
Mets starting pitchers over the last 13 games have a 1.48 ERA. 2-2 to Ethier. Struck him out. John Maine fans 2 in the opening inning, and he sets the Dodgers down in order. Mets come to bat with no score. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Geico, by AT&T Rethink Possible, by Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer, by American Airlines. We know why you fly. We're American Airlines. By Volkswagen, and by the world-famous McFadden's, now open at Citi Field. Here's your Mets lineup for this afternoon, brought to you by Geico. Luis Castillo played both ends of the doubleheader, so he gets the day off, and Alex Cora plays second base. Juan Barajas behind the plate, otherwise the same group. David Wright had a breakout night last night, 3 for 3, including his 1,000th career hit and 4 RBIs. And John Eli makes his major league debut on the mound for L.A.
Well, John, another one of those kids. I'm getting old. Born in 1986. How about that? Went to Miami of Ohio where my middle daughter, Melissa, went to college. We got conflicting reports on this young man. I will say this. Last year in Double-A, he went 14-2 in 27 starts with a 2.82 earned run average and struck out 125 in 156 innings.
Angel Pagan 2 for 7 in the doubleheader yesterday and takes a curveball for a strike, 0-2.
So we know that he's got a good curveball, and there it is right there. And they all say he has a changeup, but I think the curveball's his pitch.
Up and away with the fastball, and that's about where he'll top out at 88. The thing about Eli, they say, he's a max effort guy, but a guy who has been successful in terms of wins and losses everywhere he's been. And the changeup popped up, and the shortstop Jamie Carroll with the sunglasses on puts it away for the first out. So Pagan retired, 1 out.
And the Coors Light Dodger defense, Russell Martin behind the plate, I should never mispronounce that. A Gold Glove winner.
Say it 11 times fast.
Write it on the chalkboard 20 times. Gold Glove winner in 2007. Kemp out there in center field's a Gold Glover, although he hasn't displayed that in this series.
Alex Cora making his 9th start of the year, takes a strike. Cora does 5 for 30 to begin the year, after Luis Castillo had a good night at the plate last night.
A bit surprised that Castillo played both games, and the night game was a blowout. I thought that maybe they'd take him out and put Cora in, but Cora's in the lineup today.
Little tapper along first, and it goes foul. The weather conditions today are very similar to the weather conditions last night. It's 53 degrees, wind out of the northwest, 21 miles an hour, gusting to 38. And it provided some problems for the fielders, but also for the pitchers in the doubleheader yesterday. Johan Santana said the wind was blowing his ball all around. And certainly Oliver Perez looked like he never had a feel for things.
Yes, and the cold weather pretty tough on getting a grip for the pitchers.
Ball gets a little slick in your hand with the wind. Blowing away with the fastball, and it's 2-2 to Cora with Jose Reyes on deck. Mets are 8-1 on this homestand. With a win today, they would match their best homestand ever. They had a homestand in 1969 when they went 9-1. They had a homestand in 1988 when they went 9-1, and they're trying to match that today.
And lo and behold, look who's on top of the National League East.
Well, when the Mets got home at 4-8, they were in last place. Now they're in first place.
They leapfrog.
Phillies lost in San Francisco last night. The Mets are a half game up on the Phils, a game ahead of the Marlins and the Nats. Ball 4, and Cora's on with a walk. And here's a visual representation of where the Mets were when the homestand began and where they are today. The last shall be first.
And the Phillies lost 7 of their last 10 on this road trip they've had. They had a difficult road trip.
And of course, the Mets and Phils will be getting together this weekend for the first time. And what's happened to the Phils as Jose Reyes steps in is since Jimmy Rollins went out of the lineup, their offense has slowed down significantly. Over the last 12 games as Rollins has been hurt, they're averaging just 3.6 runs per game. That was a Phillies team that was leading everybody in runs scored over the first 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, they weren't going to continue at that pace all season long. Everything, water seeks its level.
Reyes 2 for 9 in the doubleheader yesterday, and Jose swings and misses at the changeup 0-2.
Beautiful change, 2 in a row to Jose. Wow, look at that, 3 fingers there, a little circle, beautiful. Too much of the plate, you can get hurt inside on a changeup.
John Eli making his major league debut. He had 3 starts at AAA Albuquerque, where he was 2-1 with an ERA of 3. 18 innings, 16 hits, 12 strikeouts in his AAA starts this year. 3rd-round draft pick by the White Sox in 07, came to the Dodgers in the deal that sent Juan Pierre to the south side of Chicago.
Big lead.
And Reyes reaching for the changeup, pops it up along the line, a long one in, and Paul makes the catch. Xavier Paul with good speed, and of course sliding back into first.
Boy, no one backing up the first baseman on that throw. Nice play. It's an outfielder's ball. Everybody gets clear. And they listen, and they hear, and they back off.
Well, with the wind pushing that ball back toward the infield, Paul had to run a long way for it.
Oh, man, it is blustery. Nice play by Loney to keep it in front of him.
So 2 out. Cora still at first. Now Jason Bay, who yesterday in game 1 hit his first home run as a Met. In game 2 hit his 3rd triple, which is as many triples as he had all of last year with the Red Sox. The Mets now have 9 triples on the season. And they're going to get a ton of them this year.
Well, they didn't take advantage of that last year. And, of course, all the injuries. But we won't talk about that. That's ancient history.
Well, with Reyes healthy, with Bay and his hustle out of the box, which is where triples are born, David Wright, Angel Pagan, who had 11 triples last year. He was the guy who did take advantage of it. And they have so many guys who can leg out 3 base hits.
Hey, this is hit the top half of the ball, line drives stadium right here. There's no margin for error. Anything in the air is a big out.
It made for you.
Yes, it was. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. But still, Garrett, you know, we always talk about it, that spherical ball and that cylindrical bat. It's such a fine edge, just a fine line of error there, and you can't help in the course of the season to get under a ball. And some stadiums, they go out, and this one they're not.
2-1 to Bay. And he takes it high. And Eli behind him, 3-1 with David Wright on deck. Mets trying to sweep their 2nd straight series after sweeping the Braves. Looking for a sweep of the Dodgers, who are reeling right now at 8-12 in last place in the West. 3-1 to Bay. Swing and a miss.
Good slider for a curveball there. 3-1. This is a pretty good pitch. A little cutter. See a little circle in the behind that ball. That's the same view. Just reverse the ball. That's how it looks to a hitter coming in. And that's how you identify the pitch as a breaking ball.
A relatively new pitch for Eli, that cutter. Cora runs, strike 3 called. Got him looking at the fastball. And so John Eli throws up a 0 in his first big league inning. No score after 1.
Afternoon. Is that someone we know down there?
Well, that's Mr. Picker.
Oh, Mr. Picker, I thought it was. He's got his spitting image son.
Our producer's dad. James Loney leads off in the second inning against John Maine, who looked very sharp in the first inning, getting the side 1-2-3 and striking out a pair. Loney, when we last saw him, was getting ejected from the second game last night for arguing a call third strike. Actually looked like he had survived the argument and then got ejected as he was walking away for tossing a batting glove in the general direction of the home plate umpire, Angel Campos.
That gets you thrown out of a wiggle?
One wouldn't think so. Loney said, my other batting glove was sitting at home plate. I was tossing it toward that one so the bat boy could pick him up.
Well, that changed. There's the umpire right there, Angel Campos. That changed the whole complexion of the ball game right there. That strike three with the bases loaded. It should have been ball four, and the Dodgers going ahead 4-3. But you know, when you're going good, you catch those breaks, and the Mets have just really had a brilliant homestand.
And you know what? It's not just getting the breaks, it's taking advantage of the breaks.
Right. You make your own breaks.
I mean, you know, the Mets have gotten a break with the weather. They had a rain-shortened game. They've gotten a break when other teams have played poorly defensively. I mean, look at the Cubs and the Braves and the Dodgers have all played horribly against the Mets on this homestand. As Loney strikes out, that's 3 in a row for John Maine. One down in the second. But, you know, other teams can make mistakes and you don't necessarily benefit from them.
There's that running fastball by Maine. You can see 3/4, and that's going to make that ball just kind of tail away, start to the outside corner, and you got to, if you're Loney, put that in the back of your head and realize that that pitch that starts on the outside corner is going to be a ball.
Now Casey Blake with one out, and strike one to Blake. Well, Maine, for all of his troubles this year, has struck out nearly a batter per inning. The problem is he's also been hit hard. 25 hits in 16 2/3 starting the day. And that one looped into right field. First base hit for L.A. as Blake pulls in at first base with a one-out single. The umpiring configuration for today, Paul Nart has the plate. Brian Gorman, the crew chief at first. Ted Barrett and Angel Campos round out the quartet. Brian Gorman, second generation big league umpire.
Oh, that's right. Tom Gorman? He was still umping when I came up. I believe that.
Well, here's Ronnie Belliard, who has tremendous career numbers against John Maine. Belliard is 9 for 15 with a home run against Maine, and that's why he's starting, even with a right-hander on the mound. Normally Blake DeWitt, the left-hand hitter, would play second base.
Well, Belliard's a very dangerous hitter. He plays very loose. He's got a very quick bat. He's a guess hitter, and he can put a hurt on you.
Looped into right field. Long run in for Frank Coor, and he makes the catch. Now throwing behind the runner, but Blake gets back. Well, Frank Coor making the running grab for the second out, and Blake trying to figure out which way to go.
Well, you know, Frank Coor may not be the fastest outfielder in the game, but he gets terrific jumps, Gary, and knows what to do with the ball. Has great sense of the field after he makes the catch, or whether it's a base hit or an out, where to throw it. Doesn't make very many mistakes throwing to the wrong base. Very seldom.
Now, if you're Blake and you're caught in between on a ball like that, you have to fear Frank Coor's arm whichever way you go. If that ball falls, you have a chance for a fourth and second.
Well, you can't get doubled up. That's the one thing.
Here's Xavier Paul, the rookie left fielder, making his second start for L.A. Came off the bench in the second game last night. Takes a strike.
And he's only 1 for 7 on the year, so he hasn't had much playing time. He's one hit, a double.
He was called up when Manny Ramirez went on the disabled list last Friday. Jamie Carroll on deck. And since Manny went on the DL, the Dodger offense has disappeared. 10 runs in 5 games. 1-1 to Paul, who had a little bit of time with the Dodgers last year, but then he had both an infection that knocked him out for a while and then an injury that cost him the rest of the season. So starting from scratch now in his second tour of duty with L.A.
Well, John Maine has got to be feeling the fly ball to center field. It should end the inning. He's got to feel like he's pitching for another start today.
Pagan squeezes it. A hit and 1 left. No score, middle of the second. game summer premium pick-a-packs include a premium location ticket to a Subway Series game at Citi Field, plus one game each in June, July, August, and September. Get your summer premium pick-a-pack now at Mets.com. John Maine, in an effort to keep his pitching shoulder warm, putting out that little contraction between innings.
Is it for warmth or for cool?
I believe it's for warmth.
That's kind of neat, really. Wow, I like that. What do they think of next? I bet you Walter Perry Johnson would have loved that.
I don't think he needed it. David Wright leads off in the bottom of the second. David had a huge second game of the doubleheader last night. 3 for 3, a triple, 4 RBIs. Now has 1,001 hits in his career. He takes a strike from John Eli.
Well, congratulations, David. That's a great milestone. One to build on. I liked his swing off the left-hander last night, his last at bat.
And oh, by the way, by going 3 for 3 in the nightcap, he snapped a streak of 13 straight games in which he had struck out at least once. Eli bounces the breaking ball 1-2.
Eli's impressive so far. Nice breaking stuff. Nice changeup. Spots his fastball.
Ike Davis on deck, and then Jeff Francoeur here in the home second.
See if he can keep it up.
Cutter off the plate, 2-2.
Boy, Ike Davis is really impressive. That double to the opposite field yesterday on that breaking ball away was sweet.
Eli grew up in Illinois and grew up a huge White Sox fan. And when he was drafted by the White Sox in 07 was a dream come true, but never made it to the big leagues with Chicago. And he's drinking tea.
Bigelow tea.
3-2, whip to left. And off the wall on the fly. David heads for second. Paul's throw is well offline. David Wright has set a new Mets career record with his 226th double.
That's pretty quick. Let's see the pitch here. 3-2. Congratulations, David. Let's see the pitch. Fastball. Hey, I like the fact that he got the barrel out. Starting to shorten that swing up. Right down the pipe, but that's a pitch he's been late on, and that is just a very good sign that maybe David's on his way back to the David Wright that we've come to love and know.
So David has shuffled Ed Kranepool aside from another line in the record book. He and Kranepool had been tied for the Mets club record in doubles, and David got there a whole lot faster. So he's got that line to himself.
Oh, Ed, don't worry. If any consolation, you hold the Shea records. You will always hold the Shea. You will always hold the Shea records, Eddie.
So the Mets have their first hit off Eli, and now Ike Davis.
Okay, we can show the pitch differential, and you can see they want him low and away, and that is too much plate. And that's a pitch the hitter should just jump on.
So Wright's in scoring position with nobody out. Ike Davis had a couple of doubles, 3 RBIs in the doubleheader yesterday, and has to jump back 2-1. Ike making his 10th start today. Since he arrived, the Mets are 8-1. And Ike has been everything that you could have hoped for in his first week and a half in the big leagues.
Oh, good change. Not a strike. So Dodger scouts did a nice job. This kid has a chance to be a pretty good pitcher.
Taking the spot of Vicente Padilla, who's on the disabled list with a nerve problem in his forearm. And Padilla might be out for a while. They're not even going to let him throw a ball for another week to 10 days. Breaking ball fouled away. By the way, speaking of pitchers on their way back, the Mets are going to Philadelphia this weekend. Brad Lidge threw 2 innings last night on rehab in Double-A and says he expects to be activated Friday.
Okay, and who are they getting the first night of the series?
Kyle Kendrick goes for the Phillies against Jonathan Neese.
When do they get Halladay?
Saturday. Halladay against Pelfrey. 2 pitchers off to a pretty good start.
I think I'll watch that one.
I think you will.
I always love a good pitching duel. Pitchers matchup.
By the way, speaking of pitchers, that same game Lidge pitched last night in Double-A. Steven Strasburg pitched for Harrisburg. 5 no-hit innings.
He's not long for minor leagues, is he?
3-0, 0.52 in Double-A with 23 strikeouts and 3 walks. That's pretty good. Breaking ball wide to the right field, base hit. Wright will go to third and stop there with nobody out. As Ethier gets the ball in, so Ike Davis hanging in there and hooks one into right field, and the Mets have first and third and nobody out.
I believe this might have been a changeup. Let's see. Had him out in front. Yep, there it is. Now let's see where it is. Oh, he had it away, but he got it up. Nice hitting. Let go with one hand. That's good balance. See, even though he's full, he's got good balance. On it, he's not lunging. He keeps his hands back. He lets go with one hand.
And if nothing else, even if he hadn't gotten the hit, he would have advanced the runner with that.
Yes, and I just like what I see every day with this young man. I really do.
So Jeff Francoeur a chance to get that first run in. First and third and nobody out. The infield back. They'll concede a run to try and get a double play. Francoeur 1 for 5 in the doubleheader yesterday. Didn't start the first game. Drew his 9th walk of the year. It's almost halfway to last year's total. Little tapper right back to the mound. Runner has to hold. Now breaking for the plate is Wright. They get the out at second, and that's all. Wright took off as soon as Eli released that ball for second base, and the Mets on a 1-0 lead.
Well, the pitcher has one thing to do here. It's early in the game. It's the second inning. You don't look the runner back at third. The only time you get the runner at third is if David came down and he's dead to rights. You just get the double play, concede the run. Nice slide there by Ike just to prevent the double play. But watch David. Okay, he could have gone and got him. He was down the line too far. But this early, get out of the inning.
Absolutely. So an RBI for Francoeur, 1-0 New York. Ron Barajas the batter. But the other piece about that is that the Mets continue to run the bases extremely well.
Yes.
We saw with Blanco last night going first to third. I talked to Jerry Manuel about it this morning. He said, frankly, he taught base running and rules and defense differently this spring than he ever had before. That there was much more emphasis. Skull sessions about, oh, that's inside and hits Barajas in the hand. Or did he get the bat? He's shaking the hand. Meanwhile, Francoeur is continuing to run around the bases. Didn't get any ruling from the home plate umpire. Now they're saying hit by pitch, and Francoeur will go back to second, and Barajas will get attention from the trainer.
Well, it's a changeup that just gets away. I just kind of grazed. Look at the top of his knuckle.
Hit the hand and then hit Russell Martin in the mask. That's the sound we heard.
So I don't know why this young man Eli is wanting to throw so many changeups when he's got such a good breaking ball. We'll take a listen here. They got the umpire far worse.
So they'll check out the hand of Rod Barajas. Here's a Coors Light freeze cam.
That's a nick. And the umpire got it right in the coconut.
It was the umpire's
mask. Oh, he
got
it in the coconut, boy.
I thought it was Martin the way he cringed, but you're right. It was the home plate umpire Paul Nard who took that second hit off the hand of Barajas. And Joe Torre is out talking with the home plate umpire, or actually it's Rick Honeycutt, the Dodger pitching coach, and now Mike Herbst, the assistant trainer, wants to make sure that Nard is okay. So lots of concern all the way around. Barajas still flexing his left hand is going to stay in. Nard appears to be okay.
One thing's for certain, on a cold day like this, when you get hit by a pitch, no matter if it's grazed or hit squarely, it's going to hurt.
So the Mets have a run off John Eli, and now John Maine up there to bunt with first and second and one out. John already has 2 sacrifice bunts this year, 0 for 3 officially. Once it foul. Well, John off to a good start this afternoon. He was off to a good start in his last outing against the Braves before the Gremlins reached in and messed with him. Causing that pain in his left elbow.
The Goblins.
Nice bunt, forcing Blake to handle the ball. 5-4 on the sacrifice, moving the runners to second and third. Well, Maine gets the job done. His third sack of the year.
Well, you want to make the third baseman field the ball, and John does that. And that vacates third base. Frank Cora can just basically walk over there. As a runner, you want to make sure the ball's down first and then break. You don't want to get doubled off on a pop-up or a line drive bunt.
So now an RBI chance for Angel Pagan, who popped to short his first time up. Second and third, 2 out. And the curveball low inside. Pagan just 3 for his last 27.
He's been out in front, pulling that front shoulder. I talked to him in the clubhouse. I'm going to tell you, he's a nice young man. I mean, very personable. He's trying to stay back, working on it.
Drives one to the deep right field. Back goes Ethier. Going back. It's over his head and off the base of the wall. Frank Cora and Barajas both score. Pagan hits for third. Belliard's relay not in time. A 2-run triple for Angel Pagan. And it's 3-0 New York.
Another changeup. Ethier caught playing too shallow, and he's got to can that changeup. 2 outs, everybody's running. Pagan motoring. There it is. He's getting hurt in that changeup. You better can it.
Well, second half of last year, Angel was a triples machine. That's his first of this season.
You can fly, and he always hustles. And that's become the trademark of this team, Gary. For one thing that I love is everybody runs everything out.
Now Cora hits one toward the left field line. That one's going to land fair and go to the corner. Pagan is in. Cora to second. RBI double. 4-0 New York. 2-out extra base hits by Pagan and Cora. And John Eli taking it on the chin in his major league debut.
Fastball away. Going right with it. Yep. 2 fingers over the ball and nice hitting. That's where you hit that. He's getting his pitches up. Nice hitting by Mr. Cora.
First double of the year for Alex. His third run batted in. 4 runs home for the Mets here in the second. Now Reyes pulls one down to first, and Loney goes down to get it. That retires the side, but the Mets cash in the second inning. Frank Cora drives the first run in, and then Pagan and Cora with long hits, and it's 4-0. Eat fresh.
It's like there with his 2 daughters.
He's not sharing that sandwich with them, I notice.
No. He looks like he's enjoying it.
Yes, he is. Here's Jimmy Carroll leading off the third. John Mainstay to a 4-0 lead. Carroll playing shortstop with Rafael Furcala with a hamstring injury today. Carroll 1 for 5 in the doubleheader yesterday. And takes a strike, 1-1. It'll be Carroll, then the pitcher John Eli, and then Russell Martin here in the third. Mets put up a 4-spot in yesterday's game in the 6th inning, and they put up a 4-spot in the 2nd inning today. Reyes on the backhand, bounces the throw, not in time as Carroll has an infield hit.
There's just not the strength of the plant leg for Jose right there. Kind of buckled a little bit, and that's just because he's missed that time. I don't think he really has his strength. Watch his right leg. The plant, it just doesn't have the strength back yet in his leg. We've seen Jose take that plant and throw a bullet across the field. So that's something that will come as he plays more.
Now John Eli, first major league plate appearance, looking for the bunt. Pitch outside, thrown to first by Barajas, and Carroll gets back. Something we've not seen a lot from Met catchers over the last few years, that willingness to throw behind a runner. And lunging for it is Eli as he fouls it off.
And he stabbed at it, and you don't want to stab at the ball. Well, you've got a baby face, doesn't he? Watch, he got his bat out, brings it back in, and then touche. You know, you don't. It's not. You're not dueling with eppies.
And Larry Boa wants to provide a little counsel on bunting technique. Larry knew how to bunt.
You're not D'Artagnan here.
Joe Torre, the 4th consecutive 1,500 win manager to face the Mets.
Wow.
La Russa, Piniella, Cox, Torre. And the Mets have had the best of the veteran skippers so far.
That's Bob Schaefer next to Joe Torre, former Met coach, minor league coach.
And Eli gets the bunt down with 2 strikes. Maine will have to go to first. 1-3 on the sacrifice, moving Carroll to second. Well, there's the all-time managerial win list, and you see the names featured prominently there. La Russa, Cox, Torre. That's what the Mets have seen in the last couple of weeks.
Well, I don't think anybody is going to catch Connie Mack, but La Russa is going to get McGraw.
You'd have to manage for 50 years and own the team like Connie did. Of course, his teams weren't very good for a lot of those 50 years.
No.
Here's Russell Martin hitting leadoff today. Flied out to right field his first time up. Runner at second and 1 out. And a call strike.
Remember all the pictures of Connie Mack in his suit in the dugout and that Panama hat.
And using his rolled up program to position his outfielders. 1-1 to Martin, which raises the question: why do baseball managers wear uniforms? They don't do it in any other sport.
Well, I guess it's all part of the uniformity of the team concept.
But Connie Mack did. Papers blowing all over the field, and Martin check swings one foul, and there was a paper going right into his line of vision as that pitch was thrown.
I'd have to step out. That was just too much. Too much of a distraction. And the umpire should, if the hitter does call timeout, it should give it to him.
It is just, it's a mess out there. Swirling eddies of plastic and paper all over the place.
It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend.
Yes, supposed to get much warmer tomorrow. And then even warmer over the weekend.
84 on Saturday.
84 feels like a long way from here. 1-2 to Martin. And he tries to take it to right field and fouls it off. Even in the secure bunker of our broadcast truck out beyond left center field, they almost just got blown away. Maine ahead 1-2. Comes up and in.
Good pitch. Like that.
89, about where John's been topping out.
Hey, not enough of that in today's game. It's not even a brushback. There's your pitch count.
Very nice strike to ball ratio for John. His biggest problem has been high pitch counts, even when he's been successful. Dribble to the right side. Davis will field, and Maine covers for the second out as Carroll moves over to third. So 2 away after the leadoff infield hit. John averaging nearly 21 pitches per inning this year, and you know it's hard to stay around in games very long, even when you're doing well, when that's the case.
Yes. What was the exact number? He's thrown 300 coming into the game, 345 total pitches, over 16 2/3 innings this season. Wow, that's a lot.
Here's Matt Kemp, who struck out his first time up. Of course, even when you go back to John's most successful year in 2007, we talked all the time about the number of straight back foul balls he'd get with his high rising fastball, and that would cost him more pitches over the course of the game. So it's always been an issue with him. This year the problem is he's given up too many base runners. Slowly to short. Reyes dodges the paper, fields the ball, but bounces the throw, and it gets by Davis. A run comes in. Kemp will hold it first. I don't know if Reyes was distracted by the paper or just made a bad throw, but it ate up Ike Davis.
Well, routine. And that's a short hop too. So a little bit, got to go out and get that ball. I don't want to be too overly critical of the footwork. So he's got to go stretch out farther. He's got long legs. That ball, go get it. Stretch for it. That wasn't a good. He knows it too. He's talking to himself.
Looked like it fooled him, like he was expecting it to come in on the fly, and that the fact that it bounced surprised him. No?
Well, he's still learning the different throws from the different infielders, but you've got to go get that ball. You can read out of the hand of Jose at around 10 feet that ball's going to have some sink. The wind's probably playing havoc with the throws too.
So an error on Reyes, bringing home the first Dodger run to make it 4-1. Second error of the year for Reyes. Ethier fouls it off. Ethier struck out his first time up. So a scratch run for the Dodgers. They score without the ball leaving the infield. Carroll an infield single, sacrifice, ground out error.
Louis just made 2 nice plays on pieces of paper flying right at him. Put them in his back pocket. I mean, Alex Cora, I should say.
By the way, that is only the 3rd unearned run against the Mets this season. By contrast, the Dodgers have given up 19 unearned runs.
You got one team under 500 and sinking fast, and the other team on the rise. You know, MLB had the broadcast last night, and Jim Cott, my old buddy and teammate, had the game. I talked to him after the game. I have dinner with Jim tonight. He said, you know, pennants aren't won in April, but they can sure be lost in April, talking about the Dodgers.
There goes Kemp, swung and missed. Barajas with the throw, and he's safely in there. Kemp with his 3rd stolen base of the year.
Well, a good pitch to throw here. Fastball down the pipe. Ethier just missed it.
I think he actually got a piece of it, and that might have messed up Barajas' timing. Foul tip.
It's like Ethier, another one of those hitters that they're kind of one-zone hitters. They can't adjust their swing to a high pitch. Kemp the same way.
So now Maine ahead of him 1-2. And he bounces the fastball 2-2. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown this afternoon at 90.
Nice block by Barajas. We got a nice catching core. Nice veteran catching core. Good journeyman catchers. Is that name still in vogue?
Journeyman? Sure. Well, they've both been around. There's no two ways about that, but they have been very steadying influences on this staff.
Absolutely.
Barajas, a very late signing by the Mets after their courtship with Benji Molina, but it has worked out very well, and Blanco has been terrific as the backup.
Just felt that Molina didn't even want to come here. Was just using the Mets to get a better deal, even though the Mets offered him more money.
Well, he was trying to get a 2-year deal out of the Mets, but that never was offered, apparently. Struck him out. Second time Maine has fanned Ethier. his 4th strikeout of the afternoon. An unearned run for the Dodgers. Mets up 4-1 going to the bottom of the 3rd. The games you can't make on StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Mets. You'll get great seats and great service on StubHub all season. So go to StubHub.com and choose your seats today. Mets with a 4-1 lead as they come to bat in the bottom of the 3rd. Jason Bay, David Wright, and Ike Davis due up against John Eli, the 23-year-old rookie making his major league debut for the Dodgers. Bay took a call, third strike his first time up. That ended the 1st inning, but then the Mets putting up 4 runs in the 2nd. The big blow, a 2-run triple by Angel Pagan. So Eli begins his 3rd inning of work. And Bay takes the cutter off the plate for ball 1. Jason now with a 5-game hitting streak, 7 for 17 over the 5 games, and things starting to look a lot brighter for him. The strikeouts are always going to be there. Second game yesterday, struck out 3 times, struck out his first time today. That's 27 strikeouts and 76 at bats.
Well, he's got a few holes, and all hitters have not all hitters, but most hitters have a spot they don't like. Bay is a high ball hitter, and he's got that top hand swing, that hockey swing almost, which makes him just deft from the belt up.
He shoots, he scores. There's a strike, 3-2.
He guesses a lot too. The second fastball he's taken, he got called out on a fastball, strike 3 in the 1st inning, and he took there 3-1, looking for a breaking ball, and he stayed on the breaking ball there.
How do you guess when you've got a guy you've never faced before?
Well, they've got a scouting report on him, but a lot of hitters today, they like to read the charts, and this pitcher throws this 60% of the time in this count. So there's ball 4 right there. Change up 3-2. Don't know him. I just don't understand that.
Second walk given up by Eli.
I never like to look for a breaking ball. I always felt I could adjust to a breaking ball, especially if a guy had not a great curve, an average curve, even an above average curve. I could adjust, geared to fastball. But a lot of hitters can't do that.
Here's David Wright, who doubled off the wall and left in the 2nd inning. Now the Mets' all-time doubles leader. And takes low from Eli. By the way, the Weather Service tells us the wind is now gusting to 42 miles an hour.
Stop obsessing.
It's a little obvious, isn't it?
It's cold.
I mean, they've got a whole crew of guys on the grounds crew going out between innings just to gather all the papers that blow each half inning. They need to arm those guys, by the way, with the sharp sticks the guys in the park have. Pick up the papers.
Yes, that would help. Be easier.
Better than bending over.
Easy on your back.
Check swing foul.
Oh, caught that one on his arm.
Molnar's been nicked a couple of times already in this game.
Fastball in. Ties up David. Oh, got him on the right side. Paul's a good umpire.
In the air to center field. Kemp easing over toward right center. And that gives way to Ethier. Tagging at first is Bay to draw the throw. But he holds on one away. Here's the thing I don't understand about the papers. You know, at Candlestick Park, they usually blow up against the fence in left field. Here they're staying in center field. It's like they're not going in any particular direction.
It looks like a carousel out there. They're just going around in a circle.
We used to talk about the swirling winds at Shea. I guess we haven't moved that far away. They still swirl here at Citi Field. 1 out and 1 on. Here's Ike Davis, who singled to right his first time up. And the curveball bouncing away from Martin. And down to second goes Jason Bay.
Well, again, this is going to be a wild pitch, but Russell Martin just doesn't move back there. Watch him backhand. That's not. You don't do that. You got to get in front and block. I'm trying to say that Martin, I don't know what he is in Stratomatic, but well, he's close to a 4.
You know, we mentioned the comments that the Dodger GM Ned Coletti made regarding Matt Kemp. He also had a more broad statement that he made about the Dodgers in general. And takes in plays like that as Davis swings and misses at the fastball. He said that the Dodger players, many of them, are not as good as they think they are. I think they can walk out there and just beat people by just showing up. And you watch a play like that, and it makes you nod your head in agreement with Mr. Coletti.
It makes you also know that the front office is very concerned about this team. When the team goes bad, the general manager's on the hot seat too. And he's trying to fire up this team. I basically feel what we've seen from the Dodgers is just a lack of hustle, a lack of any kind of spirit. We saw it with the Cubs. And he's trying to get the team kicked in with a little Teddy Roosevelt big stick, not the carrot.
1-1 to Davis. Popped it up into the wind. Jamie Carroll amongst the papers asking for help. Now on comes Kemp to make the play. And Bass holds it second, 2 out.
Well, that was nothing but trouble for Carroll, the shortstop. He's got big time problems. That's got to be the outfielder's ball. And both of them had it covered.
You need your center fielder to take charge there, and Kemp did. Let's not forget, Matt Kemp won a Gold Glove in center field last year. So, not too much to ask for him to be in charge out there. So 2 out and a runner at second. Now Jeff Francoeur, who drove in the Mets' first run with a fielder's choice, and he takes the cutter off the plate.
When's it going to get warm, I think? Last year it didn't get warm till like late May, early June.
Tomorrow, perhaps. I mean, it's April 28th. I think it's time. Dodgers are going home. They're going to have warm weather tomorrow. To Francoeur. And he bounces one foul. Just as the Mets have seemed to turn a corner in terms of the feeling about attention to detail and hustle with the addition of guys like Bay and Barajas and Francoeur last year. The Dodgers have had subtractions, guys like Juan Pierre, who is as hustling a player as there is in baseball, or Orlando Hudson, who was a real clubhouse leader. 2-2 to Francoeur.
Well, it's not always the X's and the O's and the numbers that add up to the bottom of the calculation on a team. There's a intangible to any team sport. that doesn't reflect on statistics.
Francoeur reaches out and lines one in a right base hit. That'll chase home Bay. Francoeur heading for second. Ethier's thrown. Not in time. An RBI double for Francoeur, and it's 5-1 New York.
Well, he's fooled on this ball, but keeps his hands back. And again, Bay's going to score easily.
I think the Dodgers are going to say that Francoeur missed first base. Martin goes over and steps, and no call.
Safe for second base.
Second base umpire says safe. First base umpire was out calling the play in the outfield, so he wouldn't have seen it.
That ball was a foot outside. This is what I like about this team. He touched it. The hustle. I just love this team's hustle. You got to love this team.
Well, I said it last night, and I'll say it again. This team is playing with a certain spark. Of course, the only thing going along with this team right now are the belts.
Charlie.
And a couple of them broke last night, and it seems like Bay has had a belt issue here.
Charlie assured me he ordered different belts.
We're going to walk Barajas with first base open and pitch to Maine. I've never seen that before. That's 3 belts in 2 days.
Charlie said now it was 3, now it's 4, I think.
There were 3 yesterday.
Yes.
Oh, I must have missed
No, there was something else happened. Someone else's belt broke in an entirely play we didn't see. But so Charlie said he couldn't believe it. So he's ordering new belts.
That's good to hear.
Chad's always on top of it.
Because you don't want people's pants falling down. That would be, it'd be embarrassing.
It would be horrific. I'd have to avert my eyes.
So Barajas takes the intentional walk, the 3rd walk for John Eli. Now the Mets, who up until the last few days had difficult numbers with runners in scoring position, up to 209 starting play today, and 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position this afternoon. John Maine bats with 2 out and 2 on, with the Mets up 5-1. And the fastball high. John sacrificed his first time up. Well, the Mets with 5 hits now, and 4 of the 5 have been for extra bases. Doubles by Wright, Cora, and Francoeur, a triple for Pagan. And Maine taking all the way. It's 2-0.
Well, there you go.
Cashing them in.
Gotta have it.
And the Mets are doing something today they haven't done a lot, and that is score early.
And they've gotten two out RBI. There's a Jim Bouton move right there. The pitcher lost his hat.
Well, you can understand it today.
What year was the year that Bouton starred in that World Series? Was it 61? 1 or 2? I'm not sure. 61. I think you're right.
Against the Reds. There's a strike, 2 and 2 to Maine. Well, Bouton came straight over the top and seemed to lose his hat on every pitch.
Yes, he did.
At least he didn't get blown off the rubber like Stu Miller. That could happen today, too. On the outside corner, Maine down looking to end the inning. But the Mets add a run on Jeff Francoeur's RBI double and lead 5-1 after 3. Jonas Schwartz and Joe Beningo will be talking about the Mets and their upcoming series in Philly as they debate all the latest news in New York sports on the next Daily News Live, presented by Citi, weekdays at 5 on SNY.
Oh, everybody's kind of changed their tune about this ball club over this homestand, haven't they?
I saw Joe in the ballpark today, Joe Beningo, and he was almost smiling. You know, it takes a lot to get Joe to smile when it comes to his teams. James Loney will lead off in the 4th inning for L.A.
Everybody's here today to see the Mets on a blustery afternoon. Keith Olbermann's here. He's come out of the woodwork, front runner Keith.
I don't know. He backed an underdog for a long time. Loney struck out his first time up, and he takes high 1-0. Mike Lupica's here.
Lupica's here.
All the celebs.
Bill Madden. Hey, this team's worth watching.
1-1 to Loney. Well, big series coming up in Philly this weekend. First meetings of the year between the Mets and Phils. And you know, the fact that the Mets have had this great homestand and the Phillies have struggled on the road has only increased the excitement for that first series of the year. Friday night, Jonathan Neese opens the series at Citizens Bank Park against Kyle Kendrick. Then Saturday, a marquee pitching matchup. Mike Pelfrey with his 24-inning scoreless streak against Roy Halladay, who finally lost in his last start. And then Santana Sunday night against the ageless Jamie Moyer, who lost yesterday.
Big test for John Neese, pitching in that small ballpark. That powerful lineup. That's what it's all about, though. What a challenge.
The Phillies today are out of first place for the first time since May 29th of last year. So it's been a while. 1-2 to Loney. Struck him out. John Maine with his 5th strikeout. Second time he's gotten James Loney. And the Phils today face Tim Lincecum in San Francisco. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin?
Guys had a conversation with Alex Cora today about Ike Davis. And, you know, is it coincidence or not? The Mets have played very well since he got here at the beginning of this homestand. And Alex said, well, I had an initial theory. It was the Arizona State theory with Dustin Pedroia and Andre Ethier. So the guys that kind of came on quick and didn't really get fazed by the big league game. He said, but, you know, this spring training showed me a lot. I never felt all spring that the game was too quick for him. And he said, you know what? The other thing which I never felt is that the hype was getting to him. He came to work. He never came to believe his own hype. And to me, that showed me an awful lot. And I said, you know, obviously the fans very energized by this move. How about the players? He said, yeah, we were energized too. And we continue to be energized because I don't want to call him the savior. That wouldn't be accurate. But he is a big part of this. He's been a big part of this homestand. So it just kind of goes along with that mantra of how well he has fit right in with his team and how much he's impressed his teammates, guys.
Kev, you're in that clubhouse a lot. Tell us about how he mingles in there. Is he kind of shyish? Does he just kind of be aloof, or is he a part of it?
Hey, he's a part of it. Very quiet. He's been very quiet. Frank Core will battle the wind here and make the play. Yeah, Keith, he's been quiet, he's been shy, but I think he knows his place. You know, he's not afraid to ask questions. I see him going up to guys and asking questions and talking to guys, and you know, I just think he fits. And I thought what Alex said there was the perfect description, that he comes here to work. You know, he didn't hear the hype. He comes to work. He puts in his work just like everybody else, and he doesn't feel like, you know, a guy that just made his major league debut at the beginning of this homestand. He feels like a guy that's been here, and I think that's a big compliment to him.
There's Ronnie Belliard with 2 out. Well, you have to think that having had a dad who played for a decade in the major leagues has to have had an impact just in terms of Ike knowing what to expect when he got here.
Well, absolutely. He's been around the clubhouse, and you know, it's the old generation. When you get called up and you're a rookie, you're a plebe, and that's changed a lot. But still, you got to know your place, get your feet wet, and he has certainly taken the National League on by storm so far. I'm not usually very glowing in my praise when people come up and get off to hot starts, because there's always a flash in the pan. You know, I'm of the belief that you got to back it up with years. But I just like his swing. I like his approach at the plate.
Belliard walks on 4 pitches, first walk for Maine.
So if he doesn't lose his confidence, or I don't think he will. I think that he's got a bright future.
Well, he's going to go into a slump at some point. And you always wonder how a guy handles his first big league slump.
Well, yes, we're all going to go in slumps. Ted Williams went into slumps. So Joe DiMaggio went into slumps. Barry Bonds went into slumps.
Even Jason Hayward has gone into a slump. And everybody had him in the Hall of Fame 2 weeks ago.
Well, that's precisely, you're talking about my point.
Right, exactly.
And Keith, he has to handle carrying the bags now. He is a rookie going on the road. I mean, that'll be a test.
That's true. He hasn't played his first road game yet.
So there's something new starting on Friday.
Xavier Paul takes up and away 5 in a row out of the strike zone from Maine, who had been very sharp up until this point. This is as deep as John got into the game last Friday against the Braves. It was after 3 2/3 that he had to leave because of the elbow issue. Appears to be fine physically, but has just lost the strike zone for a moment. Now it's 2-0 to Paul. This is something we've seen with John right from the beginning of his Mets career. Every now and again, when he's going just fine in a game, he'll have that stretch where he'll walk 2 guys in a row and it just feels like a loss of concentration for a moment.
Well, Pelfrey too, and Pelfrey's pushed past that now. And there's a nice changeup right there, 2-0. Gutty call after 5 straight balls. Also, Oliver Perez always hits a wall around the 5th inning. So Pelfrey's the one right now that stepped up and is carrying the baton.
Pelfrey's pitching like a 1A right now.
Yes.
Paul lifts one to shallow right center. Pagan taking charge and through the wind has it to end the inning. So Maine works around a 2-out walk. That's a 5-1 lead. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Select Spiders. Here's your AT&T Trivia question for today. National League record for most consecutive games played.
Wow.
Well, you know that Cal Ripken has the Major League record.
Where's Pete Rose might be one. Eric Garvey played a lot.
I know that a guy had it in Chicago for a long time, but I don't know if that record was broken.
Remember Garvey played every day for a long time, Steve?
Mm-hmm. Third time around the batting order for the Mets against the rookie right-hander John Eli in his big league debut. Angel Pagan has the biggest hit of the day for the Mets, a 2-run triple in the second. Eli's allowed 5 runs and 5 hits. 4 of the 5 hits for extra bases. And Pagan fooled at that cutter, 0-2.
Tied up there, up and in. I'd rather see Angel get tied up late like that than be out in front. When you're out in front like he's been, you're dead. You got a chance when you stand back. And he's waiting a much longer. When you commit yourself early, fly your shoulder, and get your body weight leaning forward, you are toast. When you stay back on your back feet and you're late, you got a chance to flare one in the opposite field.
1-2 to Angel, whose triple was his first of the year. He had 11 triples last year in less than 400 at-bats, which is extraordinary. Strike 3 called. So Eli gets him looking. His third strikeout. They've all been on call third strikes.
That was a changeup right there. Good sink. He wants it inside. It's right down. Oh, that's great movement. He took something off. That was 84 miles per hour.
So 1 out now. Alex Cora getting a chance to play today with Luis Castillo getting the day off. He's walked and he's doubled in a run. To Cora. Even with their recent hot streak, the Mets are still in the bottom half of the league in runs scored. But their offense over the last couple of days has shown particular signs of life. 10 runs, a season high in the nightcap yesterday, 5 early runs today.
Well, I tell you what, the way they're playing and taking the extra base, it's invigorating. It invigorates a team.
Popped into shallow right. Ethier chasing it through the wind. 2 out.
It invigorates a team, Gary, and it also it's contagious. You saw the catchers hustling, Barajas and Blanco. Tatis hustles as though his time has been limited. You see Bay running everything out hard to first base. Pagan, that's infectious in a nice way.
Yes. Reyes is 0 for 2. Fly to left, bounce to first. And just in off the plate to Jose, 1-1. Jason Bay on deck. Eli looking for his first 1-2-3 inning and gets ahead on Reyes 1-2. John Eli last year in Double-A was 14-2.
Great year.
With a 2.82 ERA. Double-A Birmingham in the White Sox organization. Check swing tapper. And Loney fields. Side retired. So Eli has that elusive 1-2-3 inning. Sticking around. But the Mets lead 5-1 after 4. John Maines looked good over the first 4 innings, allowed just 2 hits, struck out 5. Mets put together a 4-run second inning. Angel Pagan right in the middle of that with a 2-run triple. And the Mets trying for only their third 9-1 homestand in club history, have themselves a 4-run lead as we go to the 5th. Jamie Carroll will lead things off for LA. And with the Dodgers bullpen rather beleaguered, Joe Torre has his pitcher John Eli on deck to bat for himself.
Well, they sent down John Link, who pitched in the doubleheader twice yesterday and did not fare well. They sent him down to make room for Eli to pitch this game, so they're a man short in that pen. Troncoso pitched in both games.
So did George Sherrill.
Yep.
The only guy who's going well for the Dodgers in their bullpen is their closer, Jonathan Broxton, but they're having trouble getting the ball to him. Broxton's just an animal.
He's like tree trunks for thighs.
But the Mets have been able to keep him out of this series so far, and trying to do the same today with John Maine in a show-me effort. Really performing well behind on Carroll now 3-1. And, you know, on a day very reminiscent of yesterday when Santana and Perez had trouble with their command, John has been very sharp.
He goosed that one in there.
Second walk given up by Maine as he passes Carroll. So a leadoff base runner. Second time in 5 innings the Dodgers have gotten the leadoff man on. And so Eli will stay in there. He sacrificed successfully first time up, although didn't look very good doing it.
No, he did not. And the odds are, I'd say, pretty good that he's not going to get the job done this time. It was just poor fundies. We'll take a look at him.
And he fouls back the bunt attempt.
On guard.
Russell Martin waits on deck for the Dodgers. Let's check in with Kevin.
Guys, I ran into Russell Martin yesterday, and his upper body looks like a new person. I mean, he's really jacked. He's really in good shape. And I asked him about it. Let me give you an idea what his off-season workout was like. He met a trainer in Arizona where he lives, and this trainer came up with this program called Bauman's Extreme. Wow, had to fight that one off, and Barajas going to make the catch. Eli set down, and he doesn't get the bunt down again. So here was a typical workout for Russell Martin. He would start out by bending down and taking a tire, and then squatting and kind of throwing it the length of a city block. Then he'd go inside, and this whole workout indoors would be in 100-degree heat, and it would nonstop. Sit-ups, push-ups, exercises with a weight belt, anything you can imagine nonstop for an hour in 100-degree heat. That wasn't all. When he was done, they would go into the sauna, which ranges anywhere from 150 to 200 degrees if you've never been in a sauna before, and spar boxing for as long as he could take it. And I asked him, first of all, if he's insane. He said no. He said the biggest thing, obviously, besides getting in physical shape, for him was mental shape. And I said, this is coming from a guy who, has basically played every game at catcher. He said, that's true, but I really felt mentally I needed to take it to another level. I'd say that would do it to you, guys.
Oh. Kev, I don't think you're going to find, if I can turn the clock back, you're not going to find me doing that.
You're not throwing that tire a city block?
That's a little overkill, don't you think?
Well, Martin had a poor year last year by his standards and felt as though he was a little too light and needed to put on some extra strength this year, so he certainly has accomplished that. We'll see if it leads to better results. 1-2 to Martin. And if you're wondering about the J on his uniform, that's a tribute to his mom. Her maiden name, Jean Sohn, which is part of Russell's name. He's Russell Coltrane. His dad was a jazz musician.
Yes, of course.
Jean Sohn Martin. And so he wears the J in tribute to his mom.
Grew up in the French area of Canada and Quebec, Montreal, the capital. I believe, no, Quebec the capital or Montreal?
Of the province, I believe Quebec City would be.
Yeah, I think so. It's a beautiful city, Quebec, huh?
It really is. And unlike Montreal, where it's bilingual, Quebec City is not bilingual. It is French all the way. 2-2. Chopped foul. The Dodgers got Russell Martin from Quebec. They also got Eric Gagne from Quebec. They knew each other when they were young. Gagne is now retired finally after trying multiple comebacks. What did he have? 88 saves in a row, some ridiculous number like that. Record that might never be broken. 2-2 from Maine, just off the plate. And a full count to Martin.
Boy, John wanted that one. It was close. Too close to take.
Kemp on deck. That 10 homers, 10 steals first season by catcher. There goes the runner, and Martin fouls one off the right side. That's going to blow into the stands. Frank Core coming hard over because you just don't know what the wind is going to do here on a deadline today.
Well, the flags are blowing over that left field roof. They're blowing directly across the field.
That flag that's over there in front of the scoreboard in right center is a little more unreliable because
it swirls.
It's got that scoreboard blocking it. But I think that's a better measure of the true direction of the wind, blowing left toward right. Again, Carroll runs and Martin drives one deep left field. Bay got turned around and he'll watch it go. A 2-run homer for Russell Martin. A line drive that cleared the 16-foot wall. Second home run of the year for Martin, and it cuts the Med lead to 5-3. Well, with that wind blowing, you have to have a line drive to get it out to left field, and Martin did.
Well, a lot of hitters are low ball hitters, and I said it before. Used to be high ball right-hand hitters, low ball left-hand hitters. Not anymore. And you'll see this pitch is down. Fastball, wants it away, right down Broadway and down. Boy, he just hit a 2-iron right there.
Nice catch by the fan. Kemp pulls one down the left field line. That's a fair ball going to the corner. And Matt Kemp will cruise into second base with a double. So all of a sudden it's coming apart for John Maine. A leadoff walk. Thought he had Martin struck out, but then Martin strikes for a 2-run homer, and now Kemp following with a double. Joe Torre putting Martin and Kemp 1-2 in the order, and they both have extra base hits here in the fifth.
Right down the pipe. Inner half.
So now the Dodgers, who were down by 4 runs when this inning began, will get the tying run to bat with Andre Ethier coming up. Check out the IOTV pitch differential on the home run by Martin.
You're going to see that wants the ball away, and it's sorry, that's not where you want it. And down.
The 5th home run John's given up this year in 22 innings. So Martin with his 2nd of the year, and now Ethier tying run at the plate. Maine has struck Ethier out both at bats today. So now it's a 5-3 Med lead.
Oh, good fastball.
Manny Acosta, first man up in the Mets bullpen. It was 84 straight saves for Eric Gagne. I think I said 88. 84 is pretty good, though.
He was an animal out there.
Remember what they used to put on the scoreboard when he come in the game at Dodger Stadium?
No.
Game over.
Okay.
And it was. He was that good for those 2 or 3 years.
Ethier, another low ball hitter. Boy, that's a big swing right there. Wow. That's so uncharacteristic of Andre.
Spinning himself all the way around.
Fastball, we told you. See, that ball runs away. You got to just see anything. It's easier up here to say, but you really got to be focused on the ball starting on the outside corner. But John Maine, it's going to be a ball. It's going to run away. And those are the things you got to find your little points as the ball leaves the pitcher's hand, or elevation wise or inside outside wise, your barometers.
Maine looking back at Kemp dancing off second, and Ethier strikes out. Well, he kept chasing it, and Maine kept going there. That's 3 times in a row that Maine has struck out Ethier, 2 down in the inning. 6 strikeouts for Maine.
Not too good a hitter to you have at bats like this in the course of a season. Fooled completely there. Change up. Didn't even start in the strike zone, but it's just not a good at bat for Andre.
So now 2 down, and here's Loney, who has struck out in each of his 2 at-bats. So Maine has 6 strikeouts, and 5 of the 6 have been against the 3 and 4 hitters, Ethier and Loney.
And that's a big run to drive in out there. Bring the game within 1. It's a huge run to drive in.
Loney 1 for 9 in this series. And he foul tips one. Fastball from Maine, 0-1.
See all these Dodger hitters, how they drop their back shoulder, and they're all their bats just angle the same angle. I've always touched on it, and every hitter is almost like coming out of the computer the same way, just spit out the same way. They're low ball hitters. They have a hard time hitting the pitch belt high and up. Just watch the back shoulder. Maybe we'll get a swing here. Nope, we don't.
Bouncing away from Barajas, and over to third goes Kemp on the wild pitch.
Wants it away, and not much he can do there. Misses on the other side of the plate badly.
So now Kemp at third with 2 out. A 1-1 count to Loney. Maine up to 83 pitches on the day, trying to get through 5 innings to qualify for a win.
Oh, good upstairs fastball.
Well, the velocity's not there. He's throwing 87 to 89 for the most part, but he still has that little hop.
Got too much in the middle of the play. That'd been up an inning that tied him up, but you don't have to throw 90. John's sneaky, and he's always been sneaky upstairs. He's still throwing 87, Gary, and it sneaks up on the hitters. He's got life in that high fastball.
There was a time when we'd see him throw that same fastball at 93 with that hop.
It's like another fastball.
Hit hard to short, 1 hopper fielded by Reyes. And the side retired. Dodgers make it closer as Russell Martin lines one into the seats in left field. A 2-run shot for Martin, his 2nd of the year. We're halfway through at Citi. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. National League record for consecutive games. Now, Billy Williams had that record for a long time at 1,117, but Steve Garvey broke it. I called you were correct, my friend.
I finally got one.
Garvey is 4th on the all-time list after Ripken, Gehrig, and Everett Scott, whose record Gehrig broke. en route to his 2,130 consecutive games played. Of course, Ripken's record 2,632. Talk about unbreakable records in baseball.
That's a tough one. I don't think I would desire to break that record.
Well, your longest consecutive game streak was 302 games.
That's pretty good. That's yeah, that's good.
It's 2 years.
I was always good for around 155. I always prided myself on playing over 150 games.
The longest active streak in baseball right now is Prince Fielder, 205 games.
You wouldn't think that.
He goes out there every day.
Yes, he does. I think I played, most I played in the season was 161. Dave can check on that.
Bay rips one right at Casey Blake for the first out. And you can't hit it much harder than that. So Bay retired, one away. Tonight at 6:30 was the year the Say Hey Kid came back to New York. See the rare video straight from the Mets archives of the return of Willie Mays in the Mets' 11th season. Mets yearbook 1972. Tonight at 6:30 only on SNY.
Greatest player I ever saw play. Willie Mays.
It's hard to argue that. He was magnificent in every respect.
Just a great player.
And his first game as a Met against the Giants, hit a home run.
How about that?
In the rain at Shea Stadium against Don Carruthers.
Don Carruthers, my goodness, you're bringing that's back in the days when they had Jim Barr and gosh.
0-2 to right, up and in. Remember who he was traded for?
Oh no, but I remember the Gaylord Perry trade.
He was traded for Charlie Williams.
That's right.
Not the umpire, but the pitcher.
Right-hand sinker bowler.
Two on the way to right, and he fouls it away. Dave Freed points out that you played 161 games twice, 1977 and your MVP year of 1979.
And that's in the St. Louis in that heat.
The AstroTurf. Line into center field, a base hit for right to David. After 3 hits in the nightcap last night, has 2 hits this afternoon, and his bat's starting to get going.
Nicely done. Another changeup. I don't understand why this kid wants to fall in love with his changeup. Just with 2 strikes, a hitter behind the count.
So now Ike Davis with 1 out and 1 on. The Mets have hit a couple of shots against John Eli to start this 5th inning. He's up to 95 pitches in his major league debut. Davis is 1 for 2, had a base hit in the 2nd. And David, who has been very runnerish early in the season, 7 steals already in 8 tries.
Is that a word? Runnerish?
It is now.
I like it.
And the curveball sits high, 1-0 to Davis. Jeff Francoeur has driven in 2 runs today, waits on deck. To left field, Paul started back, now racing in with the wind, and gets it for the 2nd out.
Boy.
Xavier Paul's had to show off his speed a couple of times out there in left field. So 2 out. John Eli trying to get through 5, making his major league debut today. Picked up in the Juan Pierre trade from the White Sox. Grew up in suburban Chicago. And he's given up 5 runs and 6 hits in his debut. Here's Francoeur, who's driven in a run with a fielder's choice and driven in a run with an opposite field double. And Jeff lays off the cutter, 1-0. John Eli made 3 starts at AAA this year, went 2-1 for Albuquerque before the call-up, and about to throw his 100th pitch in his big league debut. 1-1 to Francoeur. fastball for a strike. Wright is not getting a very big lead, as though he's having trouble figuring out the move of Eli.
I think that David and Jose are kind of pacing themselves more. Wants the fastball upstairs too much. When you're young, it's nice. Oh, I remember the 30-30 club, and or Jose's case, I steal 50, 60 bases. But you get older, you become a little wiser. It's a long year, and you pick your spots to steal those bases. You steal them at the right time.
Well, this wouldn't be a bad time.
It would not be a bad time. But you can wait to 3-2. Hopefully, get to 3-2 here with a pitcher that's kind of been, he's throwing strikes, but he's young. Might want to wait till a 3-2 count.
3 walks, 3 strikeouts for Eli, and paying more attention to Wright now. David jumps another half step onto his lead. And Frank Court bounces one out to Jamie Carroll. Gets the force play, and that gets Eli through the bottom of the 5th. 5 in the books at Citi Field. The Mets up by 2.
As they get ready to take on their division rivals in Philly with insider info and analysis of the upcoming series, plus exclusive behind-the-scenes video on Mets Blog, presented by Verizon. It's featured on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. We go to the top of the 6th here at Citi Field, and the Mets in front of the Dodgers going for the sweep and a 9-1 homestand. And part of the talk about this great Mets play has been their bullpen, no doubt. Hisanori Takahashi, with the roles he has played, especially the last 2 outings with 12 total strikeouts, a lot of chatter about him maybe making his way into the rotation. But a couple of things here. Jerry Manuel has made it quite clear that Alvin Perez and John Maine are going to get plenty of chances to keep proving their worth. And the other thing is, guys, I talked to Dan Worthen today about Takahashi, and he called his role and his performance in that long man role invaluable. He said the other thing to keep in mind is when he has come out and had those long outings, he has had high pitch counts. So you have to keep that into effect when you talk about a guy starting and how long he'd be able to go in a game. And I guess the question being raised here is just how valuable that man is. I mean, back in 06, Darren Oliver was a huge part and kept the Mets in a lot of games. John Maine starts off with a strikeout here of Casey Blake. And with this, it's the same thing. As David Wright said last night, it's not only that Takahashi has kept us in games, he's dominated and let us win games. So I pose that question to you guys, just how valuable is that long man on a winning team?
Well, I think it's an interesting debate because some would say in the National League, because you pinch hit for the pitcher when you're behind, generally long man is it's a nice thing to have, but it's not a necessity because you can go 2 innings at a time with your relievers as Valdez and Nieve get up in the Mets bullpen. That having been said, Takahashi's been great so far.
Well, I like a long man, and I would like to have 2 of my pitching staff, left and right. I believe I'm old school that way. I think that the reason why Takahashi has been lengthened in his starts is because maybe they're stretching him out, and he may be, emergency. He's going to be in the rotation.
Well, he threw 71 pitches yesterday. Belliard down looking. 8 strikeouts now for John Maine, who is deeper into this game than he's gone in any game this year. He had gone more than 5 innings before this.
He's got 92 pitches. He's under 100 next, number 7.
But the other thing that I would say, first of all, Takahashi said, look, if I'm starting, I'm not getting as many strikeouts. I need to get more ground balls. He's already said that. The second thing is, while Jerry endorsed Oliver Perez remaining in the rotation and said he's going to get another chance, I'm not sure how long that leash is as Xavier Paul swings and misses. I mean, he kind of gave him a pass last night because it was a rough night to pitch, but I don't know how much longer that patience is going to hold out.
That walk around the block is getting a lot shorter.
0-2 to Xavier Paul. Well, let's give you fans a chance to sound off today's Toyota text poll. Do you think Takahashi should go into the rotation? A for yes, B for no. Text 57508 RSNY.TV. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. John Maine strikes out the side of the 6th inning. A very impressive performance for John Maine. With a 5-3 lead. If you were with us last night, you heard us read a promo that kind of tongue-in-cheek encouraged you to play hooky and come to the game today. Well, Keith was a little bit not really down with that idea. He felt as though, the kids should stay in school today. And even though it's a weekday day game, it might not be the best idea to come to the ballpark today. Well, this young man, he's got a promise to make to you, Keith. Well, he's going to make up all his schoolwork.
He's very neat. He'll get an S for satisfactory or an O for outstanding for his printing there. That was wonderful. I'm glad. My parents were that way. If you had TV, you wanted to watch a show at night, you had to do your homework in the afternoon. If you wanted to go out and play, after school, or then you had to do, there's no TV after dinner, and you had to do your homework after dinner. So there's rules that are set, and nicely done, young man.
Well, he's obviously a straight A student because, first of all, he has beautiful printing and good grammar and syntax. Second of all, he was listening to you.
That's right. There he is.
So there you go.
There you go, young man.
Nicely done.
Oh, boy, he's chowing.
And look, he's got his reward right in front of him.
Yes, he does. Right before he goes home and does his homework.
0-2 to Barajas, bouncing away from Martin. Well, John Mayne's come out on deck. Mayne had himself quite a top of the 6th inning. Struck out the side on 10 pitches, 1 over the minimum. Now has 9 strikeouts for the game, the most he's had in a game since his classic 14 strikeout performance against the Marlins the second to last day in 07 when he had a no-hitter into the 8th inning. Well, Ethier under the fly ball, and Barajas retired 1 away.
Well, John's best inning was his last inning, obviously the 3 strikeouts. And what did we see out of him that inning? After he had an inning prior, he gave up the 2-run home run to Russell Martin. He comes back determined. He threw 90% fastballs and got 3 strikeouts. So hopefully he puts that in his back pocket and doesn't forget about that fastball.
Well, this was a show-me start for John Mayne, and he has shown that he is back in form. The velocity may not be where it once was, but he's been able to blow away Dodger hitters when he's had to, with 9 strikeouts in 6 innings. And that is a very encouraging sign for a Mets rotation that had been 3/5 rolling with Santana and Pelfrey and Nice, and now Mayne joining the party.
Oh, big hook.
1-2 to John.
Well, this kid's a diamond in the rough, Eli, and he's got good combination of pitches, good breaking ball. He's got a chance. It's all about consistency. All the successful pitchers can go out there and put it together over 9 innings. Well, today 6 innings, 7 innings.
Curveball bounces 2-2. By the way, we mentioned John striking out the side on 10 pitches. 2 Mets have struck out the side on 9 pitches. Nolan Ryan did it in 1968. David Cohn did it in Cincinnati in 1991.
Two pretty good pitchers.
A few strikeouts between them. Blake with an offbeat hop to handle. Throws out Mayne for the 2nd out. So 2 out and nobody on. Mets baseball is presented in HD by IOTV. Get your HD free with IOTV. So 2 out and nobody on. Here's Angel Pagan, who had a 2-run triple in the Mets' 4-run 2nd inning. Mets scored 4 in the 2nd, 1 in the 3rd. But they've been held to just 1 hit over the last 3 innings by John Eli. And Pagan bringing the 3rd baseman in with the bluff. He's looking for his heating pad, I guess.
Oh,
Pagan went around 0-2.
I don't think he did. Ask for help. That's what I tell the No, what did I forget? It was like me before I left for the park yesterday. I didn't know where my keys were. I misplaced my keys.
And Pagan down swinging. Well, quite an effort by John Eli in his first big league start. 116 pitches, 4 strikeouts, but it's the Mets who have the lead 5-3 after 6. NY is brought to you by Verizon Fios TV, Internet, phone. This is Fios. This is big. By State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the day is Alan Wheeler of Brooklyn. And by Chevy. Find your nearest dealer on ChevyOffers.com or call 877-64-CHEVY. Seventh inning, Fernando Nieve and Pedro Feliciano staying busy. John Maine getting in a groove as he faces Jamie Carroll to lead off the seventh. Longest outing of the year for Maine, and he's struck out 9, including 4 of the last 5 hitters to face him.
He's throwing predominantly fastballs and locating.
Well, when he had his most down moment in Colorado, John vowed to come back as the old John Maine, a fastball pitcher. And we've seen that here today. Reed Johnson on deck to pinch hit for Eli, who did a creditable job in his major league debut. Now Maine behind on Carroll, who's been on base twice with an infield hit and a walk and has scored 2 runs. So Eli can feel pretty good about things after one bad inning in the second when he gave up 4 runs, but hung in there. Maine's 100th pitch of the afternoon, down the middle, 3-2.
Just laid that one in there. Take your chances. 100th pitch right there, as Gary said, and those guys are ready. Well, you just want to finish it, and then you start.
But Carroll is on base for the 3rd straight time. 3rd walk given up by Maine. It comes leading off in the 7th, and we'll see how long the leash is now for John in a 2-run game. And I guess the leash is done because Jerry's on his way out. John wants to pitch more, but it looks like his afternoon may be over. Fernando Nieve will be coming in, but Maine with 6+ solid innings, 9 strikeouts, and he leaves with the lead and should feel very good about things. This call to the bullpen is brought John Maine beating himself up a little bit about the leadoff walk, but he pitched very well. Now Nieve comes on. Reed Johnson hits the first pitch to center field, and Pagan there to play it. So Nieve throws one pitch and gets an out. I mean, John tends to be very hard on himself, but this was a big step forward today for Maine.
It was, and also the old John Maine throwing predominantly fastballs. He wasn't up in the 90s. But maybe he learned something today that I don't have to throw 90s to get people out. I throw you through consistently 87, 88, 89. And there's Fernando Nieve. This will be his 14th appearance in 21 games this season, second in the majors in appearances. And most importantly, he has stranded 9 of the 10 inherited runners when he comes in.
Now he faces Russell Martin, who had a 2-run homer his last time up in the 5th. Martin, the tying run at the plate. The home run was his second of the year. He lined it into the front row in left field. Nieve pitched 2 innings yesterday in game 1. This was Martin in the 5th.
Fastball down and not meant to be away, and came back out over the middle.
Now Nieve ahead 0-2. Double play ball right at Reyes. Cora with the turn. In time, double play. Now Nieve comes on, throws 4 pitches and gets 3 outs to get the Mets through the top of the 7th. July, August, and September. Get your summer premium pick-a-pack now at Mets.com. Here's around the majors for today. The Nats and the Cubs tied at 2. Ryan Dempster pitching for Chicago. That game's in the 4th inning. 3-run double for David Eckstein, the big blow. Padres beat the Marlins 6-4. Padres lead the West. And the Brewers, after the Pirates snapped their 22-game Miller Park losing streak yesterday, lead 4-3 over the Pirates. Carlos Gomez has a home run in that game, the former Met, for Milwaukee.
You see, there's some. That's good stuff. Your veteran cap. Try to get a smile on it, John. John is always so serious. And just get him to loosen up. Good outing.
27-year-old Ronald Belisario had a delayed start to his year.
Had visa problems out of Venezuela from Maracay, Venezuela. He had a terrific year last year. Second lowest ERA at 2.03 among rookie relievers in the American major leagues.
Alex Cora leads off against the hard-throwing Belisario.
It's very interesting. Belisario, they got a picture in the press book here. He's a right-hand thrower, and they got a picture of him bowling at a fundraiser. He's bowling left-handed.
Ambidextrous guy. 1-1 to Cora. You would think if you had left-handed proclivities, you'd go out there and throw left-handed, wouldn't you?
I don't think you want to have left-handed proclivities. Trust me, Gary.
Cora pulls one just foul. Almost trickled himself a double there. 1-2. Cora already has a double today. Hit one down the left field line to drive in a run back in the second. Now, John Eli in his major league debut went 6 innings, allowed 5 runs, 6 hits, 3 walks, 1 intentional, 4 strikeouts, a hit batsman. He's on the hook in this game, but for a Dodger team that needed him to save the bullpen, he did that and kept them in the game. That's up 5-3 as they bat in the 7th. Reyes and Bay to follow after Cora. The grounds run to the second baseman. Belliard down to a knee, 1 away. So Belisario gets the first man to face him. And now Reyes, who's 0 for 3 today. The Elias Sports Bureau did a little checking about Reyes hitting 3rd in the order. It's awfully uncommon for a shortstop to bat 3rd. In fact, over the last 6 seasons, there have been only 2 major league shortstops with 100 games in a season hitting 3rd.
Hanley Ramirez.
Hanley did it last year, and Miguel Tejada did it with Houston in 08. That's the only time in the last 6 years that it's happened. In fact, with today his 6th game as a number 3 hitter, there are only 2 Mets in history who played shortstop and batted 3rd more often than Reyes has. Howard Johnson did it 16 times. And Charlie Neal back in 1962 did it 8 times, shortstop batting 3rd. And Reyes has his first base hit of the day. So all he says now in 4 straight games, and the Mets have a 1-out base run. Now Jason Bay. Jason 0 for 2 and a walk. Ripped one his last time up right at the third baseman Blake. Reyes with 4 steals and 5 tries this year. And Bay takes a strike. Pair of 7. It's lucky.
2 Mickey Mantles.
No.
2 Ed Kranepols.
Loney and Reyes. It's funny, we thought that the Dodgers might have brought up Josh Towers to start today. Do you remember that Josh Towers, while pitching for Toronto, wore number 7? Pitcher.
Really?
Wearing number 7. How bad is that?
He was the clubhouse man. Charlie would never do that. But he gave 17 away a couple times to a pitcher.
Lima
and
Koo.
Charlie. I feel like Marlon Brando. Charlie.
You've been getting on Charlie quite a bit the last couple of days.
Charlie needs it once in a while. I gotta whip him into shape. Charlie Samuels, of course, the clubhouse man for the Mets for years. Clubhouse. And now he's traveling secretary because he got the dual role, Chaz. And I remember Charlie when he was bat boy in Veterans Stadium in Philadelphia.
Working for the enemy. 1-2 to Bay.
Charlie was always the clubhouse man when I got traded over here.
So he's going on 30 years now.
Yeah.
He's been around almost as long as Jay Horwitz.
Tough life, boy. Those clubbies, they got to stay up late, getting late in the ballpark. Players go home to the hotels, and he's got to go in there and make sure all the clothes are washed and everything's done properly, so when the players come the next day, everything's set up. It's a lot of late hours.
I don't think Charlie's doing it out of the actual washing right now.
No,
he's got his minions.
Yes.
Look at that montage.
Oh, jeez.
It's about every picture there's ever been of you.
What's the Oakland A hat over there for? On the left.
Oh, you're sharing billing with somebody there.
There's a man, Jerry.
1-2 to Bay, and Belisario keeping an eye on Reyes. Drove toward the gap. That's a base hit, and it goes to the wall. Reyes around third. He'll score easily. Bay pulls it at second base with an RBI double. And it's 6-3 New York. Jason Bay has got it working now.
Well, big run to drive in right there. They want it upstairs. Oh boy, right down the pipe.
He's going to like hitting behind Jose Reyes. Driving a guy from first every day.
Yep. Nice top hand.
Well, Bay yesterday had a home run in the first game, an RBI triple in the second game, a run scoring double today. So the extra base hit list starting to grow. He's got 8 extra base hits and 8 RBIs now. And now David Wright, with the last couple of games, has started to catch it a little bit. 3 hits in the nightcap yesterday, 2 more this afternoon, a single and a double.
Oh boy, hanging slider right there.
David's double in the second inning was his 226th, the New Met Club record.
Oh, that's a floater.
He sits up awfully high, doesn't he? Chopped slowly. Blake has to charge. And the running toss. Good stretch by Loney to get right for the second out as Bay holds at second. So David's retired, 2 away. And now Ike Davis will bat with a runner at second and 2 down. Joe Eli hanging around in the dugout. I think he'd be back and getting himself warm after his 6 innings of work.
He's going to cheer on his offense and hopefully get him off the hook, get him a W.
Well, the Mets have tacked on an insurance run here in the 7th. Fernando Nieve came on in relief of Maine, threw 4 pitches, got 3 outs in the top of the inning. As the Mets had their bullpen set up to try and protect this lead. Davis is 1 for 3, singled back in the second. Has flied out twice since then.
Good knowledge of the strike zone for a young hitter too, Ike Davis.
Feliciano getting ready to pitch the 8th inning. It's become his province. Lined over short. Carroll can't get back for it. Around third comes Bay. 7-3 New York. 2-out RBI hit for Ike Davis. His 6th run batted in. And now the Mets have a 4-run lead.
Nicely done. Breaking ball in the outer half. Got a down out of the strike zone. This was similar pitch to the double he had yesterday to left center field, and that's not a bad pitch. And he stays right with it. Continues to impress.
So 2 hits today for Ike Davis. Here's Jeff Francoeur, who's driven in 2 runs. Well, the Mets put up 10 runs in the nightcap last night, 7 more this afternoon. So a team that's been living with their pitching and their defense and their base running is starting to put together the hitting.
6 RBI on the season for Davis in 10 games. That's nice production.
Mets as a team today now 5 for 10 with runners in scoring position. Francoeur fouls one off. Oh, what a difference. Mets limped home from St. Louis, having lost 4 straight series to begin the year. They were 4-8. And now finishing off a 10-game homestand. And if they can hang on to a 4-run lead, they will finish the homestand at 9-1. Francoeur goes down on the high fastball to end the inning, but the Mets tack on a pair. RBI hits by Bay and Davis, and it's 7-3 after 7. 1 a.m. get continuing coverage of today's Mets-Dodgers matchup, plus interviews, highlights, and recaps of everything New York sports on Geico Sports 9 tonight at 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. only on SNY. Fernando Nieve will stay on to start the 8th with Matt Kemp to lead off. Then you got the 2 left-hand hitters, so we'll probably see Feliciano after that. Kemp is 1 for 3 on the day, doubled to left his last time up. That was the last Dodger hit in the 5th inning. Remember, John Maine gave up the 2-run homer to Russell Martin and the double to Kemp, but then struck out 4 of the next 5 batters to face him and wound up going 6 innings plus. Toward the hole. Nice. Reyes moving over in front of it nicely, and the perfect throw to get Kemp. 1 pitch and 1 out. Let's check in with the studio. Chris Carlin standing by. A New York State Smokers Quit Line game break. Thanks, Chris. Well, Fernando Nieve did quite an efficient job today. Threw 5 pitches, got 4 outs, and he'll give way in favor of Pedro Feliciano. Mets up 7-3 in the 8th. We'll be right back. Pedro Feliciano brought in to face the left-hand batter Andre Ethier, who's been up 3 times today and struck out all 3, and he takes a strike.
Well, he's been his usual self. Boy, he has just blossomed into one of the top relievers in the game. His numbers do not lie. Very tough on the lefty.
And becoming equally tough on the right-hand hitter.
He's developed that little circle change, and it's given him an off-speed pitch.
James Loney, another left-hand hitter on deck. Feliciano pitched the opening game of the doubleheader yesterday and closed things out by pitching the 9th inning, completing the Mets' 4th shutout of the year. Ethier to center field. On comes Pagan to pick it off. 2 out. Here's the results of your Toyota Tex Bowl. Do you think Takahashi should be moved to the rotation? We have a tie.
About that.
50-50.
It's reflective of our country right now. Very split.
Yeah, but at least here the yeses and nos can talk to each other.
Yes.
We have dialogue.
You know, but getting back to Pedro with the off-speed pitch, you know, just reminds me of, you know, John Franco, of course, had that great change, and our studio mate Bob Ojeda had a great changeup.
The dead fish.
Yes, he did.
Loney is 0 for 3 today. Struck out twice against Maine. John Maine went 6 innings plus, allowed 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 of them earned, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. Fernando Nieve, an inning and a third, gave up nothing. And now Feliciano trying to finish the 8th. And Loney tops one down the first baseline foul. 1-1. The Mets trying to complete a 9-1 homestand. We mentioned it earlier. They have done it twice in their history. 1969. Very good year. 1988. Pretty good year.
Pretty good year. Won 100 games that year, didn't we?
Yep.
The Dodgers snuffed us.
We beat the Dodgers 10 of 11 during the season.
Well, shoot, what are you going to do? We had him on the ropes. Mike Scioscia hit the home run off Doc, turned the whole series around.
Game 4, 9th inning. Like we were going to go up 3 games to 1.
It's been over. On to play the A's. But that's why they play the games.
History changes in a heartbeat.
Give you credit. They beat our ace, Doc.
One and 2 to Loney. And he rolls over one foul.
That was a hard one for me to take because that was a long plane ride home after that loss. And growing up in San Francisco, I was never a Dodger fan.
Would it have mattered if you'd lost to, say, the Astros?
It made it worse. Dodgers.
Still harbor these feelings?
Occasionally I look back, sure.
Curveball, strike 3 call. Loney down looking. So Feliciano comes in to get 2 outs in the 8th. And the Mets come up in the bottom of the 8th, leading 7-3.
Nine-1 homestand and get the sweep of the Dodgers today as we take a look at the Mets' upcoming schedule. A day off tomorrow and then traveling to Philly. Mets hold on. They would go to Philly as the first place team and then 3 in Cincinnati before returning home to take on the Giants after that. And as we take a look at the scouting report on the Phillies, they've certainly come on hard times. They're the team this year that has been hit with the injuries. And a couple of things. Earlier in the broadcast, Gary, you mentioned about the offensive woes. Well, Chase Utley and Placido Polanco, who are red hot, they're in a 4-for-44 rut as this one has popped up a mile high. And it's going to be put away and left by Xavier Paul, so there's one away. So that's number one on the offense. A couple of notes pitching-wise. Brad Lidge threw 35 pitches coming back from a couple of off-season surgery. He did so at Double-A yesterday. Looks like the Phillies will activate him on Friday for that Mets series, so they can have their closer back. That's number one. And then Roy Halladay, who the first 4 starts was great. He allowed only 4 runs. Finally got hit. Finally showed he's a little human. Allowed 5 runs in 7 innings at a loss against the Giants in the beginning of the series. And I think the quote of the week for the Phils is, here's a line shot by Frank Catalanato, the pinch hitter. That's going to go for extra bases. Catalanato rounding. He will stop at second. So Frank Catalanato, who just turned 36, has himself a double here. The Mets keep trying to pour it on. But the finishing thought on Halladay, the quote from the Phillies, how about this? Despite that tough outing in San Francisco, Chad Durbin said, you know what, when Halladay pitches, might as well put the voicemail on the bullpen phone because nobody calls. So the Mets will see Halladay, by the way, on Saturday, guys. It'll be Halladay and Pelfrey in that middle game. And one last thing, Gary, you know, it's obvious why you are the leader of our group, because finally you said, Kevin, go inside. And so I am inside in the Acela Club, a much better decision.
Well, we were tired of seeing your teeth chatter. And I thought it was fully appropriate, since the Mets are going to Philly, for you to be in the Acela Club.
Ah, very nice.
Right?
Very nice.
Take the train down to Philly, get ready for the big series this weekend. But you look much more comfortable there at your table.
You know, I actually, when I did the open of the broadcast, my jaw actually stuck for a second. So it was hard. It wasn't even that I was stumbling. It's just that my mouth wasn't moving as quick as my brain was. So this is much better.
Well, the good news is the weather's supposed to warm up. Should be a beautiful night in Philly on Friday night as Angel Pagan lines one to left, falling fast, but Paul comes in to grab it waist high. He'll double Barajas, double Catalanato off second base, and that'll do it for the Mets. So Catalanato, figuring that ball was going to fall, it never did. 7-4 double play will send the game to the ninth. Rodriguez hasn't worked since Saturday against Atlanta when he picked up his 3rd save in 3 days. So he'll come on here to try and finish things off.
Well, he's picked up some saves, as you can see there, but it took him a long time to get his first save this year. And last couple times he's made it look easy. He can get a little wild sometimes. Not a little wild. He's not wild. He likes to expand the strike zone and get hitters, make the hitters look bad. Almost like he wants to strike every hitter out. Gets ahead and tends to nibble.
Casey Blake leads off the 9th inning and takes low. The Mets trying to finish off their first sweep of any series from the Dodgers since 1995. 15 years without sweeping a series from L.A. And the Mets are 3 outs away. Blake is 1 for 3 today. Single to right back in the 2nd. And a fastball strike, 1-1. Trying to save it for John Maine. It would be John's first win of the year, and it would be a well-deserved one. Bouncing back from the left elbow problem. Maine went 6 innings plus today, allowed just 4 hits and struck out 9. And the bullpen, which has been just aces, same today. Fernando Nieve, Pedro Feliciano, between them 2 hitless innings, and now K-Rod trying to finish it up.
You can finish it up. It's going to be a long plane ride home for these Dodgers.
Well, the good news for the Dodgers, they go home to play the Pirates. But they clearly have some issues. I mean, after the comments that we talked about earlier from the general manager, Ned Colletti, there is some ill feeling circulating around LA. If anybody can handle it, Joe Torre is going to be able to handle it.
Agreed. Joe doesn't have the core players, the leaders, the veteran leadership that he had with the Yankees. And Jeter, of course, Posada, Paul O'Neill, the whole list.
Breaking ball, strike 3 call. Lake down looking, 1 down in the 9th. Right now, let's go to the studio and check in with Brian Custer to see what's ahead later this afternoon on Wheelhouse.
Gary, coming up tonight at 5:30 in the Wheelhouse, former Jet Leon Washington will be our special guest. He's going to give us his thoughts on being traded to the Seattle Seahawks and if he harbors any resentment against the Jets. Gary and Keith, back to you.
All right, thanks, Brian. We'll look forward to that. 1 down in the 9th. Ronnie Belliard, the batter. Belliard 0 for 2 and a walk today. That pitchers have struck out 11 this afternoon. And strike 1 to Belliard. Friday night, it'll be Jonathan Neese against Kyle Kendrick in the opener of the series in Philadelphia. That breaking ball slipped. Xavier Paul waiting on deck. Friday night we'll join you at 7 o'clock on Pix 11 for the opener of the 3-game series over the weekend at Citizens Bank Park. Next SNY telecast will be on Monday from Cincinnati, when the Mets open a series with the Reds. Fouled away, 2-2 to Belliard. The Dodgers, with a loss today, would drop to 8-13. It would be their 4th straight loss. They're sitting in the basement in the National League West. Mets took 3 out of 4 from the Cubs, swept 3 from the Braves, and now trying to make it a clean sweep of the Dodgers. Two. A little high with the changeup. 3-2 to Belliard.
Well, a nice little cherry on top of the pastry here with this potential back-to-back sweep.
3-2 to Belliard. Popped it up foul. That'll go out of play. Well, the Mets right now are a team that is doing everything right. They're getting outstanding starting pitching. What a shot in the arm today to have John Maine go out and give the Mets 6 solid innings.
He pitched wonderfully and threw predominantly fastball. It's always a learning process. I think that John can take comfort in the fact he's not throwing 93 anymore. He threw predominantly fastballs, getting guys out. Ball 4, just missed.
Belliard draws a 1-out walk.
He still had life and sneakiness on his fastball at 87, 88, and 89. I thought he pitched wonderfully.
And he'll get his next chance in Cincinnati. Now here's Xavier Paul, who's gone 0 for 3 in his second start of the year. Twice flying to center and struck out his last time up against John Maine. What was most impressive, I thought, about John was after he gave up the home run to Russell Martin in the 5th inning, And then the subsequent double to Matt Kemp. He really kicked it in gear. Struck out 4 out of 5 batters, finishing the 5th and then striking out the side of the 6th. One and 0 to Paul. Fastball strike. 1-1. Let's see, it's 3:47 in the afternoon. K-Rod can get this done in the next 20 minutes or so. That'll be 3 wins in 24 hours.
Good work.
Doubleheader started yesterday at 4:10 in the afternoon. And less than 24 hours later, the Mets are on the verge of a 3-game sweep.
And a tremendous homestand.
And if he can't do it in the next 20 minutes, he's probably not going to do it at all. Davis playing behind Belliard at first. 1-2 to Xavier Paul. Hit to left field. And that ball falls fair. And it's touched by a fan, so it's fan interference. A double for Paul puts runners at second and third.
Well, nice hitting, and we'll see how. Yep, he's good call right there inside the line.
So the Dodgers trying to fight their way back here in the 9th inning. 2nd and 3rd and 1 out, and they'll need just one more base runner to get the tying run to the plate. Jamie Carroll, the batter, he's been on base 3 straight times with an infield hit and 2 walks, and he scored 2 of the 3 Dodger runs.
And that defense, I thought they'd be playing a little shallower, but the wind is blowing so hard and blowing in from left field. But Carroll hasn't got power, that's for sure.
So now K-Rod, after a 1-out walk to Belliard and a bloop double by Paul, has to tighten things up. Garrett Anderson has come out on deck to be a pinch hitter. That's Frankie's former Angel teammate. So things getting a little rough for K-Rod here in the 9th. And the curveball in for a strike. 0-2 to Carroll.
That is a wicked breaking ball right there. He threw this one hard. Look at this bite. Ooh.
From one side of the plate to the other. So now Carroll in a 2-strike hole. He struck him out. Went right back to the curve to get Jamie Carroll. 2 down in the 9th.
Well, he's got it going. Not a strike, but look at that. Geez, it's tough to lay off that. Wow. It's like someone had a string attached to the ball and the last second pulled it to the outside corner.
So now Garrett Anderson, the final hope for the Dodgers, the veteran who played for the Braves last year, longtime Angel and longtime teammate of Frankie Rodriguez. Had one at bat in the doubleheader yesterday and struck out as a pinch hitter. 2 out and 2 on in the 9th. And Anderson pulls one foul. Well, the Dodgers, who were the best offensive team in the National League for the first 3 weeks of the year, including today, 13 runs in their last 6 games. And 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position today. 0-1 to Garrett Anderson. Changeup swung and missed. And Frankie making his old teammate look bad. Now the Dodgers down to their final strike. Blocked by Barajas, 1-2. If Anderson can keep it going, Russell Martin, who has homered today, would come to bat as the tying run. Aaron trying to keep that from happening. 22 pitches in the inning for Frankie. 29,724 on a Wednesday afternoon. 1-2. In there for a call strike 3. And the ball game is over. The Mets sweep the Dodgers in a 3-game series for the first time in 15 years. They finish off a 9-1 homestand to match their best homestand of 7 or more games ever. And they've won their 7th in a row to maintain first place in the National League East.
And with the Phillies playing right now in San Francisco, just starting there in San Fran, the Mets come into the game with a half-game lead, hoping now the Phillies will drop that game, and they start the series over the weekend in Philadelphia, potentially with a game-and-a-half lead. What a turnaround. It's been a team effort. It's been a lot of hustle here. I think the fans have been energized. This team is obviously energized. Look at that, even the skip was very calm. And so there's the numbers right there, 10 hits, 7 runs, and everybody contributed.
One of the best homestands in Mets history, 1969, 1988, and now 2010. The Mets finish a 9-1 homestand with a 7-3 win. We'll be right back to Citi Field.